I am shocked. Have you seen the new Netflix approved camera lately? There's 3 new ones. 2 you might be okay with, but the third one gonna surprise you. And maybe you even think one of them should have been in there, but it's not. You know what? I'm gonna have my carrots. Let's talk about it, guys. This is gonna be interesting. Not bad. Carrots good for you. Alright, so let's sit down, relax, maybe get your coffee and tea ready. You might be in for a shock. Now, I'm having my carrot, so I'm going to calm myself down right now. Let's have a look at the website, Netflix website, and see what new cameras they approve. Yeah, you'll be shocked. Let's go. Alright, so here we are. Let's start with, I'm talking about affordable cameras, right? Canon, Sony, Panasonic, Blackmagic, and so on. All right, let's have a look at Canon first. Let me see. Let me scroll down and whammo! You got Canon C70. So those who bought the camera, pat yourself on the back. Your camera's now worth a little bit more than yesterday. Well, anyway, here we have a camera guide, and you can check their link and see what you need to set your camera to. Now, Canon can do DCI 4K, so that's what it said to set your camera to, and of course the codec, so have a look at that. But yeah, it's quite encouraging if you bought Canon C70 and you realize, oh, Netflix approved my camera. That's awesome. Yeah, it is, because it's like, you know, having a shoe and then all of a sudden it's called Nike or whatever brand you want. I'm not a brand guy, so I don't really care. But some of you, well, I need to wear Nike, I need to wear whatever, right? And so, yeah, maybe it's great for you. And your camera may be worth a little bit more now, right? Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So that's not surprising though, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go and move to Panasonic. Is there something there? Let's see. What? Do you see that? It's Panasonic BGH1. Now, if you haven't heard of this camera, this is a modular square or cubic camera, okay? It's actually used for, well, I guess in Hollywood they might use it for like those, you know, those put in the car. It's more like a stunt type of camera where it's gonna be put in different corners and precision. So yeah, apparently it's in there. Now that's a surprising part. I would never guess this camera is gonna be in the Netflix main camera. Now I think its main camera is mean using it in a gimbal or in like you know, putting the car in some other sorts of position, which is very hard for like cinema camera are able to put in. And by the way, the BGH1 has similar specs to the GH5S, so very good for low light. And apparently the Vlog L has pushed up a little bit more of the dynamic range, I think by a stop. I remember watching one of the videos. So yeah, a little bit better for or maybe the same, maybe a little bit better than the GH5S, and it's a micro four third lens. So if you are investing in the micro four thirds, there we go, people. That means you, Olympus and Panasonic, who have micro four thirds. So no fear, you can sell away the gears, but you keep your lens and you can still film with Netflix approved camera. Yes. So that was the surprising part. I'm like, oh my, this is going to be quite interesting. And by the way, that camera, when you talk about cinema camera, is the most affordable one. It's like around 1800 US or 2400 Canadian dollars. So that pretty much any consumer could purchase if they decide to go with a cinema line of cameras. Now, by the way, this camera is modular. In other words, it doesn't come with the LCD screen, so you gotta buy that extra. You can hook up to your computer, but I heard that refresh frame rate, the screen and the camera is not very good, so it's not great for live continuous focus when you're looking at the monitor and the camera. I would suggest that you hook up directly to the HDMI output and then to a monitor. I think that's the best choice to do it. But yeah, surprisingly, the Panasonic BGH1 is in there, but I think there's a reason. It's more for the stunts type of scenes, right? And a gimbal. So there we go. A Micro Four Thirds for the first time in Netflix approved, main approved cameras, by the way. Surprise, surprise. All right, let's have a look at the next one. Let's see. The Sony. It's got to be Sony A7S III, okay? And it's got to be the FS6. It's got to be in there. Has to be. Well, let's have a look. Let's see. Wait. Ah, there we go. The FS6. That's awesome. And what? What? There's no Sony A7S III in there? Are they joking? What are they talking about? Why isn't the Sony A7S III in there? Well, you know, some speculation suggests that all these camera that is being approved has, quote, time code built into their system. Like, for example, the Panasonic BGH1 has a time code input or output and allow you to, you know, sync with other cameras. So I guess maybe that's the reason why that camera is approved and not the Sony A7S III. The FS6 has that, and I think the Sony FS5, even the first model, has it too, and the FS5 II is not. Actually, I don't know why FS5 II is not in there, but the FS7 1 and 2 has been approved for the Sonys. Yeah, so Sony A7S III is not in there. Now, if you bought the camera, good for you, and you know why you bought it. But if you think it was going to be approved by the Netflix, it's not. Now you can blame this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. But ultimately, I don't think it's their fault. It's because you convinced you that this is the camera for you. So yeah, it's the amazing camera. It's just now maybe worth less than what you think it's worth to other people, because like I said, Netflix is just like a brand name. It doesn't mean anything, but for people who are buying secondhand in the future, you want to sell it, it may not be worth as much. But I don't think you'll be selling your Sony A7S III anytime soon, because it is a great camera, right? Now let's have a look at the rest. Let me see what we have here. What about Blackmagic? No, there's nothing on Blackmagic. Yeah, well, I don't know what to say, but anyway, so the three cameras, like, don't take, because it's approved by Netflix doesn't mean it's not an awesome camera. It's still amazing camera, by the way, all these camera that is suggested, and those not even listed, okay? I'm just saying, just being funny, but really, like, if you have a Fujifilm X-T3, X-T4, amazing camera. If you have Panasonic GH5, GH5S, amazing camera. If you have a Sony A7S III, S2, or A7R III, whatever, amazing. All these cameras are amazing. It's just because it's been approved by Netflix a list. It just brings a little bit more value to your camera, because you know, people do, when they buy camera, they want to make sure this camera can be used for, you know, cinematic quality filming. And so when they try to get it into these film festivals, and it eventually reach Netflix, and they have that camera, then they know it's worthwhile investing in that type of cameras. So you got to think of it that way, not because that your camera is now worthless. It's just worth less, okay? Not worth less, right? But this is why when you buy camera, take your time, all right? You know why you bought it. You know the features, and you convince yourself from this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and yeah, it's valid why you bought it, and it's still a good camera. So go out there and shoot. Don't worry about Netflix. It's okay. So what? It was worth a little bit less. Produce the quality film that you want, and do that now. Thanks for watching EducateTube.com. Woohoo!